What if I told you that a decision made in Africa last week could raise gas prices in America, shift global power toward China, drag the US into another foreign conflict, and change the next election without most Americans even realizing it happened? Because that's exactly what's unfolding right now. And it all begins with Nigeria, a deeply divided nation of more than 200 million people, where religious tensions, ethnic rivalries, land disputes, corruption, and poverty have been simmering for decades. Nigeria is a country literally built on a fault line. The north is predominantly Muslim, the south predominantly Christian, and in between lies a long history of clashes that have taken thousands of lives. For years, violent confrontations between Christian farmers and Muslim herders escalated into deadly cycles of revenge. Cities like Jos and Kaduna became symbols of chaos, and then Boko Haram emerged, launching bombings, kidnappings, and terror attacks that shocked the world. But even with all this history, experts say the conflict is not purely about religion. It's about land loss, climate pressure, political failures, and ethnic divisions. Religion becomes the label, but the roots go far deeper. And into this complicated reality steps former President Donald Trump. He declares that Christians in Nigeria are facing an existential threat and that the world is ignoring a rising crisis. His administration responds by placing Nigeria on a global watch list for severe religious persecution, opening the door to sanctions, diplomatic action, and even potential military involvement. Trump frames this as defending global Christian communities, something that resonates strongly with his political base. But critics argue he is oversimplifying a complex issue and turning it into a religious narrative to energize voters at home. Whether you agree with him or not, the impact of his statement is enormous, because when a former U.S. president warns about religious genocide and suggests America may act, it forces the world to pay attention. And here's the part most Americans haven't heard. This crisis can hit the United States in multiple ways. Nigeria is one of Africa's largest oil producers, and instability or sanctions could disrupt supply chains and push global oil prices higher. That means Americans paying more at the pump, more for heating, and more for everyday goods pressured by transportation costs. Nigeria is also a major strategic partner. If the U.S. pulls away or imposes penalties, Nigeria could strengthen ties with China or Russia, reducing American influence in a region that has major economic and security importance. This affects American jobs, trade opportunities, and long-term geopolitical leverage. Then there's the possibility of military involvement. Even limited action requires billions of dollars, coordination, and risk. Americans know how quickly limited involvement can turn into long-term entanglement, and every foreign engagement pulls resources and attention from domestic issues. This also plays directly into America's political identity. It touches religion, national security, foreign policy, immigration, and the way Americans see their country's role in global conflicts. It could influence debates in Congress, voter behavior, campaign messaging, and how future administrations approach Africa. And if Nigeria's internal crisis deepens, it could produce more migration, more instability, and more global consequences that ripple back to American borders. The real question now is what happens next. Does Nigeria defend itself and reject these claims? Does the United States escalate its involvement? Is Trump highlighting a genuine humanitarian crisis? Or is this a political strategy with global implications? And how will this shape America's foreign policy, economy, and domestic politics in the months ahead? This story is far bigger than a headline. It's a chain reaction that could shape the world Americans wake up to tomorrow. And if you want to understand these events before they hit home, make sure you subscribe, stay informed, and follow along, because this is only the beginning.